Baiklah, perkenalkan nama saya Ayulin Sabulele dari Prodi Pendidikan Sejarah dari Universitas Negeri Medan. Okay, the benefit of this critical book report. Number 1, as a reference for reviewing relevant reading sources. Number 2, increasing knowledge about history English. Number 3, increasing the ability to critical a book. Baiklah, berikut saya akan membacakan identitas buku. Title: Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. Author: Yuval Noah Harari. Books thickness 1530 pages. Publishing: Harvill Secker. Publication years 2015. ISBN 197A 1784 703 1936. Alright, let's get into the contents of the material. Namel Chapter 1. At the dawn of the third millennium, humanity wakes up, stretching its limbs and rubbing its eyes. Remnants of some awful nightmare are still drifting across its mind. Free was something with barbed weird and hook mushroom called. Oh well, it's what just a bad dream. Going to the bedroom, humanity was its face. X means its wrinkles in the mirror. Makes a cup of coffee and opens the diary. Let's see what's on the agenda today. For thousands of years, the answer to this question remained unclear. The same three problems preoccupy the people of 20th century China, of medieval India, and of ancient Egypt. Famine, plague, and war were always at the top of the list. For generation after generation, humans have prayed to every god, angel, and saints, and have invented countless tools, institutions, and social systems, but they continued to the death in their millenniums from starvation, epidemics, and violence. Many thinkers and prophets called that famine, plague, and war must be an integral part of God, cosmic plan or of our imperfect nature, and nothing short of the end will free us from them. Yang berikutnya ada the biological power line. Let's start with family, which 4,000 of years has been humanity was enemy until recently mass humanists lived on the very edge of the biological poverty line, below which people succumb to malnutrition and hunger. A small mistake or a bout of bad luck could easily be a death sentence for an entire family or village. If heavy rains destroyed your wet crop, or robbers carried off your got hurt, you and your loved ones may well have starved to death. Misfortune or stupid on the collective level result in mass famines when severe drought hit Akan, Egypt, or medieval India. It was not uncommon that 5 or 10% of the population perished. Populations become savage. Transport was too slow and expensive to import sustenance food, and governments were far too weak to save the day. Part 1: Homo sapiens conquers the world. The Anthropocene. With regard to other animals, humans have long since become gods. We don't like to reflect on this too deeply, because we have not been particularly just or merciful goods. If you watch the National Geographic Channel, go to a Disney film, or read a book of fairy tales, you may easily get the impression that planet Earth is populated mainly by lions. Wolves and tigers, who are an equally much for us humans. Simba the Lion King holds sway over the forest animals. Little Red Riding Hood tries to evade the big bad wolf, and little mauling bravely animals confronts Khan the tiger. But in reality, we are no longer three or television. Simba's Sir Khans and being bad wolves of Our planet are disappearing. The world is populated mainly by humans and their domesticated animals. How many wolves live today in Germany? The land of the Grimm brothers, Little Red Riding Hood, and the Big Bad Wolf. Less than 100, and even trees are mostly published wolf that stalls over the border in recent years. In contrast, Germany is home to 5 million domesticated dogs. Altogether, about 2,000 wild wolves still roam the earth, but 3 are more than 400 million domesticated dogs. The world contains 14,000 lions compared to 16,000 million house cats. 19,000 African buffalo versus 1.5 billion domesticated cows. 15 million penguins and 20 billion chickens. Since 1970, despite growing economical awareness, will the population have halved in 1980. 3 were 2 billions wildebeest in Europa. In 2009, only 1.6 billion were left. In the same years, Europeans raised 1.19 billion chickens from meat and eggs. At present, more than 19% of the largest animals of the world are either humane or domesticated animals. The humans part. There is no doubt that Homo sapiens is the most powerful sapiens in the world. Homo sapiens also like to be that enjoys a superior moral status, and that human life has much greater value than lives of pigs, elephants, or wolves. This is less obvious. Those make right. Is human life more precious than forest live simple because the human collective is more powerful than the pig collective. The unit status is far bigger than Afghanistan. Thus, this implies that American life have intrinsic value than Afghan lives. Part 2. Homo sapiens give us meaning to the world. The story tells us animals such as wolves and sick monsters live in a dual reality. On the one hand, they are familiar with objective entities outside them, such as trees, rocks, and rivers. On the other hand, they are aware of subjective experience within them, such as fear, joy, and desire. Sapiens, in contrast, live in triple layer reality. In addition to trees, rivers, Fierce and Desirous, the Sapiens world also contains stories about money, goods, nations, and expanse of rivers. Fear and desire, there are still many rivers in the world, and people are still motivated by their fears and wishes. But Jesus Christ, the French Republic, and Apollines have damaged and harnessed the rivers and have learned to save our despairs, anxieties, and yearnings. The accomplished stories serve as the foundation and pillars of human societies. As history unfolded, stories about goods, nations, corporations grew so powerful that they began to dominate objective reality. Belief in the great God so big, the mandate of heaven or the Bible enable people to build like Fayum. The Great Wall of China and Charter Cathedral. Unfortunately, blind faith in these stories meant the human efforts frequently focused on increasing the glory of fictional entities such as goods and nations, instead of bettering the lives of real sentient beings. The modern covenanting. At first, modernity looks like an extremely complicated deal. Hankerview try to understand what they have signed up to. It's like when you download some software and are asked to sign an accompanying contracts, which is dozens of pages of legalese. You look at it immediately, scroll down to the last page, which I agree, and forget about it. Yet, in fact, modernity is a surprising simple deal. The entry contracts can be summarized in a single paragraph. Humans agree to give up meaning in excel for power. The humanist revolution. The modern deal offers us power on condition that we renounce or believe in a great cosmic plan that gives us meaning to life. Yet when you examine the deal closely, you find a cunning aspect close. If humans somehow manage to find meaning without deriving it from a great cosmic plan, this is not considered a breach of contract. This escape clause has been the salvation of modern societies. For it is impossible to sustain order without meaning. The great politician, artistic, and religious project of modernity has been find a meaning to life that is not rooted in some great cosmic plan. We are not actors in a vivid drama, and nobody cares about us and our deeds. So nobody sets limits to our power, but we are still confident our lives have meaning. Part 3. Homo sapiens lost control. The bomb in the laboratory. In 2016, the world is dominated by the liberal package of individualism, human rights, democracy, and the free market. Yet 21st century science is undermining the foundation of the liberal order. Because science does not deal with question of value, it cannot determine whether liberals are right in valuing liberty more than equality, or in valuing the individual more than the collective. However, like every other religions, rebellious too is based on what is believed to be factual statements, in addition to abstract ethical judgments. And these factual statements just don't stand up to rigorous scientific security. Baiklah, kita masuk ke kata penutup. Ada kelemahan dan kelebihan isi buku. Strengths and weakness. Yang pertama ada advantages. Yang pertama ada judging from the aspects to appearance of the book. The book that is being reviewed is a book that is suitable for readings for millennial children because cover very interesting to read. Number 2, in this book 3 is also a document had or as evidence that this event really happened. Number 3, this book also displays images to make it easier for readers to analyze the material contained in the book. Number 4, in the book, the contents of the problems looks inventive and confirms the evidence with efficient discussion development patterns that facilitates understanding the contents of the book. Okay, deficits. Number 1, this book does not have a summary for each chapter, making it difficult for the reader to conclude the material from each chapter. Number 2, the reading contents in this book is somewhat obscure. Number 3, many as languages that are difficult to apply or words that are a little difficult to understand and so on. Baiklah, saya akan membacakan kesimpulannya atau conclusion. The first part of this book discusses the relationship between sapiens and other animals in an effort to understand what makes humans special from other sapiens. The second part of the book, Homo Deus, looks back at the world that Homo sapiens created in the last millennia and what brings us to our current thoughts. How did Homo sapiens come to believe the universe revolves around humans and humans are the sources of all meaning and authority? What are the economics, social, and political implications of this phenomenon? How does it shape our everyday life and our artistic tastes, as well as our most sacred desire? The third part of this book looks back at the things that will happen in the early 21st century, based on a much deeper understanding of humanity and human belief. They will all describe our current state and future position. How does the search for immortality, sapience, and divinity shake the foundation of our belief in humanity. What are the things if humanity is going to disappear from the belief of mankind? What may happen?